Hello, this is Cecil Sunk here from Hotkeyit.com, and this video is going to be on cheese defense, specifically on a Protoss vs Protoss build where the opponent that you're playing against does a double gas steal. And I have two replays here. One of them is me on ladder against my opponent Gosu Wanna Be Cool, and I have another replay after this that features Huangsun and Puzzle. Gosu, Huangsun, and Puzzle. So, in this first game, you can see that in order for the double gas steal to occur, they have to send a probe on 9. And then they have to spend a whole lot of resources on both of their assimilators. So now what's important to note is that my gateway is being constructed at a normal time right now, although he doesn't have enough money for his. And I'm going to double gas steal him back, which is actually a really good response. If your opponent double gas steals you, you could double gas steal them back, and they won't have a gateway for longer than you will, so they'll have a lot harder of a time killing the Vespene geysers off. But you can see here he got a probe on it in time, and was able to save one of his Vespenes. If you just right click a probe onto a Vespene geyser, it's in the way of placing the building on that spot, so that nobody can build a geyser onto it. So he was doing that, just buying some time. He wanted to get his gateway before the assimilator. That way he could have a more proper of a build. But now if you look at the productions of the gateways, my gateway is done a whole lot faster than his, about 50% faster. Although my gas is going to be delayed for quite a while. And you'll see that the key in order to defend a double gas steal properly is simply to just not overreact. Your opponent's going to have to capitalize on having earlier Vespene in order to kill you, and that means they're going to be going for more than likely some sort of 4-gate gateway pressure. Early game stalkers are also highly annoying. You can see him chrono boosting out stalkers now. As you can see back at home, I just made some zealots out of my gateways, killed off my geyser, killed off the other one. My minerals are getting really high, so I'm laying down all the gateways I'll need. I have a forge for a cannon. I'm not overreacting. Spend my first 50 gas on warp gate research, and I get a cannon. If I had gotten a stalker instead, I probably wouldn't have gotten a cannon quite yet, as the stalker is a ranged unit. The reason I got the cannon is because I need something with range to fire in this general area, especially when units come up the ramp, so I could force field here and trap units in the range of the cannon. And now you can see I'm not relying on finishing my warp gate anytime nearly as fast as my opponent. My opponent's warp gate is already done. What I am relying on, however, is just making units out of the gateways. So I know I can't finish my warp gate very quickly, so instead I just chrono boost whenever I do use some chrono boost on my gateways. And here he tries to get up the ramp with the stalkers, but it's just not going to happen. Ends up losing a whole lot of resources from those engagements up the ramp. And now that my gateways are finished, I'm going to warp in a whole lot of stuff, a whole sentry, zealot, and I'm just going to go kill him. So the theme of this replay here is that even though somebody double gas steals you, if you just don't overreact, you just make your gateway, take your assimilators as fast as you can, and continue on with your build as normal as you can, and you'll probably want to get a forge and at least one cannon as well. Then you should be absolutely fine. And your opponent can't just attack you with stalkers and expand or 4-gate you and kill you or anything. Because, like I said, the cost of those guys are so early delays their gateway a lot more than it delays your gateway, that it ends up being rather even. Here's the second replay we have with Huangsun and Puzzle. This replay is quite similar to the last one. The red player Huangsun had done a 9 scout and then immediately placed down 2 assimilators. And this time there wasn't a whole lot of a disparity between the gateway timings as before. It's a little slimmer, but pretty similar. So then what Puzzle ends up doing is he creates a couple zealots, but he's trying to do a fast expand in reaction. Fast expand with cannons, which is similar to what I did, except I had a lot of zealots instead of the nexus down at my natural expansion. And instead of trying to bust the ramp with a few stalkers, like what happened down here, earlier in the game, Huang Xin goes for Blink and then tries to utilize Blink to take his opponent out. He actually bypasses some cannons down here. But you'll see that the two assimilators in the early game is just much too much of an investment, and if the player that is defending this sort of thing ends up not reacting poorly, they just continually make enough stuff, macro properly, there's not a whole lot the opponent can do because of such an investment earlier in the game. So now what was going on down here a moment ago was Huang Xin was trying to block a nexus from being placed down, and then he places a pile on it, and pylon blocks it. So then what Puzzle does is he lays down a gateway and a forge. Gateway is just the second gateway is to act as a greater mineral sink, just so that his money doesn't get too high. And what he's going to do with the forge is place down some cannons in front of where the nexus is going to be. So then by the time his nexus can go up, he can already have some pylons ready to go. And here's his nexus. He still hasn't taken out either of the assimilators, but those are going to be taken care of momentarily. I expect to see this and a core go down immediately. So now what these cannons are going to do is provide safety to this nexus down on the low ground for Puzzle until Warp Gate research is finished and fully functioning and Huang Xin has a few gateways up and running, which isn't going to happen for a few more minutes. And then what he needs to do after all his cannons are up in order to defend both of his bases is have enough units produced out of these gateways to defend against Blink, just in case Blink occurs up the ramp, which indeed it does happen in this game. Whole lot of cannons. You want to make sure that in the event that the opponent gets into your main somehow, they can't counterattack to your natural and take the nexus out. So if you have enough cannons here, that'll prevent that from happening. Again, there's no reason to focus Chrono Boost on Warp Gate research, as it's going to be a whole lot later than your opponent's, and you're going to be defending your base, so you don't actually need to warp in across the map or anything. So instead, just spend Chrono on your gateways, and you'll be able to get more units out faster. Puzzle can afford a temporary probe pull like this because he is still mining back at his base, and he has two nexuses, so he can produce probes really quickly in the event that he loses them. Now Huang Xin has to blink back out. No way he can go through all these cannons, even though there's only one pylon currently. You can see that it just is not nearly enough to take out everything at the natural, because there's just so many units that were produced from the gateways. Which is similar to what happened last replay. I just had so many things coming in the gateways that it didn't really matter how the gas stole in the game, because my opponent just didn't have enough stuff. And there's the end of the game. Huang Xin goes ahead and just leaves. So to recap real quickly, if your gases are stolen, don't freak out. Go ahead, construct your gateway, make some zealots, kill them, kill those assimilators, and then just spend your money on stuff. You're probably going to need cannons, so get a few cannons. You can try the Puzzle's fast expand thing. Just make sure to chrono your gates hard if you do that. If you try what I tried instead, you're probably going to be facing your opponent fast expanding, and if that happens, you could probably just kill them with a lot of sentries and zealots like I did. But for the most part, if you do react well, the game will progress rather evenly. You should have a slight advantage because of how many more probes you can get in the early game if you do react accordingly. If you have any questions about anything showcased in this video, please ask me on the Hotkeyit forums, and I hope you enjoyed the video.